So let us see what we have for number 4. Number 4 was about differentiation and then some geometry in there. So it says find the equation of the tangent to the curve that at the point that. So that's the number we start by differentiating that function to get the gradient, because you know that the gradient of this curve is the same as the gradient of the tangent at a point. So if I'm to differentiate this, I get 3x squared plus this will give me 6y squared dy dx, because this is the function of y, plus here I say product, I say fix y, differentiate x, then plus fix x, differentiate y. Then when we differentiate a 0, we shall get a 0. So from there we correct like terms. I have this as 3x squared plus 3y, then plus, this one is going to be 6y squared, then, okay, dy dx, then plus 3x dy dx, though I could factorize out at once. So if I factorize out there, I have 6y squared plus 3x into dy dx. Then if I take this one this side, I have negative into 3x squared plus 3y. So make dy dx the subject. So my dy dx will be negative 3x squared. The whole, we are dividing this side, plus 3x. But now they gave us a point, so my dy dx at which point? At a point 2, negative 1 when this is our x and this is our y. It will be, now we substitute, negative into 3, our x over our y plus into a 2. Okay, so now you can ably see, if you allow me to divide here, we are going to get our dy dx as, you see this is going to give me 12 minus 3, so I'll have negative 9 over, so it's going to be 6 plus 6, which will be a 12, and by 3, by 3 over 4. So now this is our gradient. So if you want to get our equation of the tangent, we use this formula here. So my y1 is minus 1 m, which is negative 3 over 4, into x minus 2. Multiply through by 4, we have 4y. This will be plus 4 equals negative 3x plus 6. Correct like terms. So 4y will be equal to negative 3x plus 2. And so that's the equation of the tangent. Number 5 was coming from the inequality. So we said the inequalities, we start by creating the 0 by bringing all the terms to the left, preferably. So if I bring them there, I have now 5. Now this one is going to be minus 3 less than a 0. So now we cross multiply there. You create a bracket if you are not, so to avoid those mistakes, by the way. If I open brackets now, I have 5 minus 3 plus 3x, the whole over. So this will give me 5 minus this to get 2, this minus x over 1 minus x less than 0. So we get our critical values. How do you get critical values? By equating this to 0, you get x equals 2. And when you equate this to 1, we get x equals 1. Then we draw our table to analyze those values there. So this is my table. So this is my x. Here I have now the sign of this inequality. So below the smallest, between this and this, then x above a 2. Now from here, you press this function on the calculator. A value below 0, below 1, that is 0. When you put here 0, 0, the sign of this one is going to be positive. And once this is positive in inequalities, the rest are going to alternate. Once this is positive, this is going to be negative, and this will be a positive. Or you test a value per value. When you put in above 3, above 2, there is 3, this will be negative and negative, which will give you a positive. So once the first is positive in inequalities, then these ones are going to alternate. Now when we come here, it's that our sign on the last step we obtained was less than 0. Anything less than 0, it means that it should be a negative. So now the solution is going to be the bracket here where we have a negative, the range, because of this. So it's that the only range which is there is that. So our solution is going to be values between that and that. The full topic about inequalities is there in the playlists. You can visit them and find out more. When we come to this one, they're saying an inverted cone has a hole at the bottom. Liquid is dripping at the rate. So we read as we summarize. So it's dripping. Now when you see this, it means that this is going to be the rate of change of the volume. So now because of the tube there, so our dV dt is going to be 2 cubic centimeters per second. And then they're also telling us that when the depth of the liquid is x, its volume is this. Now they are giving us volume as a third pi x cubed cubic centimeters. Find the rate at which the level of water is decreasing. So they want us to get the x dt. The depth of water is decreasing because they told us that the depth of the level of water is the same as the depth, but they told us that our depth is x. That's why you want to get x dt. But now, we all know to get the x. So to get the x dt, you start with what you have. I have already dv dt. Then times, you see from here, I need the t down, I need x down, so I need the x up. So I need the x to remove this, I'll get this. But now, the whole of this, because it's decreasing, this rate has to be a negative. So now, from here, we come and we get from there, because our v, from here is that our v is a third pi x cubed. I need the dv dx, so my dv dx is going to be pi x squared. Now I need its reciprocal. This is dv dx. So now this will be negative dx dt. I'm putting this negative because it's a decreasing rate. This will be dv dt, have it as t, times now the reciprocal of this, which will be 1 over 2 pi x squared. But now they told us that when x is 5, so when x is 5, I have now my negative dv, my negative dx dt equals 2. Of course, it's that this 2, sorry, this 2 is not there, by the way. This 2 isn't there because we are just getting the reciprocal of this. I have 2 times 1 over pi into our x, which is 5 squared. So from there, you can able to see that my dx dt is going to be negative. If I take this negative this side, 2 over, this is 25, then, and that would be pi. But now because we are getting the rate of length or depth, now the units are going to be centimeters per second, like we have there. If you want now, you can go on to give this as negative. So therefore, our dx, to 4 decimal places by putting in the pi and so on. So what I'm getting to 4 decimal places is 0.0256 255. Sorry, this is 255 cubic centimeters per second, and so that's how we're supposed to do that number. So that's it, members. Yeah, sorry for this error there. It was just the reciprocal of this. But if you want to see rates of change as a full topic, you go to the playlist. Always learn how to visit playlist. Everything is going to be there. You scroll downwards, you'll see a full topic about rates of change. So that's how we had to handle number 4 up to number 6. Let me see you at number 7 and 8.